Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I want to give you a few insights about my perspective of crypto in China, and I'm going to weave this into how this can affect your debanking journey, because my involvement with crypto in China was ultimately the beginning of my debanking journey, because that's where I learned about peer-to-peer trading. And I wanted to clear up a few things about China, and the reason why that is that I'm very familiar with the Chinese world, and I would like to kind of clear up a few misunderstandings about how things are in China, particularly when it comes to crypto. And the reason why that is because I think China has been used as kind of how can I say, an extreme case of it's like on the other end of the polarity when it comes to our own like Western democracy, and we always assume that on the other side is where things are the most opposite and where things are the most bad and the most restricted. But when you discover that that actually isn't in fact as much the case as you think, I think it's going to cause you to first reevaluate your own society, and maybe there are certain opportunities at play. So let me get into the specifics about what I want to talk about. So I got into my peer-to-peer trading journey when I was in China because I was of the belief, well, correctly so more or less, that crypto was banned in China. Now, I later discovered that this is a more nuanced reality. It's not so clear that crypto actually is banned in China, but this is what I was thinking at the time. And I was working and living in China, going to university, working, but I didn't have any way to turn my my Chinese CNY or renminbi into cryptocurrency. Because there's not a what we call a trading pair for it, a CNY to Bitcoin trading pair, and there's no way that I could sign up to an exchange in China because, well, there's no it's not a utility that is facilitated in that country, unfortunately, right? Even if I had a VPN, which of course I do, I couldn't just go and sign up to. I couldn't use Binance or something like that because, as I mentioned, there's no CNY to Bitcoin trading pair. But what was always very interesting to me is discovering the fact that there was so much volume traded in China, easily bare minimum second in the world in regards to trading. And I would come to discover that this trading activity was happening in the OTC market. So OTC, in a way, basically also means peer-to-peer trading. It's a certain kind of it. Usually it involves institutions providing liquidity to large buyers, but ultimately this is a peer-to-peer transaction, and the peer-to-peer trading was happening on a large level and in a small level, and people were acquiring Bitcoin via this peer-to-peer trading activity. They would be using Alipay, WeChat Pay, or maybe even bank transfer pay to buy cryptocurrency using these methods, using peer-to-peer trading. And they'd use a website called Local Bitcoins, and there are other ones as well. I mean, even on Binance and Bybit and other places, you could very easily use the peer-to-peer trading section in order to buy Bitcoin using Alipay and WeChat Pay. And that's been a very comfortable arrangement. It wasn't too difficult to do, and because there was so much volume in there, the rates were actually very low. It's maybe not as low as if you were buying it just via bank transfer and then via spot trading, but the rates were fairly reasonable. Just a ballpark figure. I mean, you could pay as little as 1%, which is maybe it's more than on spot trading fees, but it's doable, right? It's quite doable, and I think now it's probably even more reasonable right now. So I discovered about if I wanted to buy crypto, then I had to learn how to do peer-to-peer trading. So I'd sign up to different peer-to-peer crypto trading websites to turn my my CNY, my Chinese renminbi, into cryptocurrency, right? And that was my first foray into that world. But I came to have a number of other realizations about crypto in China as I got more involved in different businesses that are also somewhat related to cryptocurrency. One is doing digital marketing for cryptocurrencies in China. And I realized that it's not just that people were trading Bitcoin supposedly in secret via these peer-to-peer trading exchanges. There's also a very thriving cryptocurrency social media landscape. You've still got your social media influencers, people talking about cryptocurrency, people shilling cryptocurrency. The environment on places like Weibo, Xiaohongshu, WeChat especially, aren't I mean, it's not as profound and as vibrant as a more free place like Telegram, Discord, and Twitter. But I mean, it has its own charm, and it's still there, you know. And you think if crypto was banned, why is it that people are still able to freely discuss Bitcoin on these public forums? And that's because crypto isn't actually banned. So to clear things up about how it is, crypto is not banned in China, right? So this is the first realization. And what is actually going on is that there were a number of different regulations that came into play that specifically targeted things within the crypto world, but not crypto as a whole, right? It's not an overall ideological move against cryptocurrency. It's basically like, you know, it's the first thing I can think of, I'm just going to name off the top of my head, was banning ICOs in China, right? And that was just a move against speculation and potential exploitation of customers. And you could say, well, that kind of goes against your laissez-faire principles about how things should be, but that's just what China did, right? There's nothing inherently against crypto with that. When it came to crypto mining, I think that was a little bit anti-crypto. I don't understand the exact reasons why they banned mining. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But at the end of the day, it wasn't specifically against crypto. And there's another law that I can think of that basically made it so local Chinese banks could not directly deal with like an exchange. So locals couldn't onboard their fiat funds into a crypto exchange through a Chinese bank, right? So there were all these specific things, but there was no law that ever said Chinese people can't own cryptocurrency. There's no law that ever said Chinese people can't trade cryptocurrency. I'm talking about cryptocurrency right now. If I was in China, no one's gonna, you know, bust my door down and ask me for my private keys. I think this idea that crypto has been banned in China, it's been banned multiple times, is kind of feeding into the overall stereotype that China is more extreme than we think it is. And there's a lot of crazy things that are going on in China, that's for sure. But like when it comes specifically to the crypto stuff, it's more, I think we made China into more of a boogeyman when it comes to the stuff. So it's got a very thriving crypto ecosystem here. It's relying on peer-to-peer trading. And the other thing that I want to also point out that's very unique and how this ties to debanking and peer-to-peer trading is that because China, I'll be honest, in general, from what I understand, there's a dichotomy where they are a little bit against cryptocurrency, or maybe more than I know, but they're also open, right? So on the one hand, you've got Hong Kong opening up as a crypto capital of the world that's going to run in direct competition with the likes of Dubai and Singapore. Hong Kong it used to be a very big crypto mecca, and it's going to increasingly become so. And you know, it's under the direct ownership of mainland China. So this is basically comes from up above, right? This is not something that Hong Kong is doing by themselves. So this is something that's going on. But on the other hand, I don't think that China necessarily wants Bitcoin to completely overtake their control over the currency system. And this is made clear by the fact that they're extremely pro-digital currency, but they want to create their own digital currency known as the Shuzi renminbi, which is the digital renminbi. And it was a pilot program that lasted, I think, 1.5, maybe 2 years. And it was actually really astounding and a little scary if you're not into CBDCs as I am. Hundreds of millions of this Shuzi renminbi were essentially airdropped to test pilot cities, and how many people would have been, like at least 200 million people received these funds, and they were allowed to go spend them in places. It just is part of a test pilot program. I don't know exactly where that is now. This was around a year or two ago, but this is a huge experiment in the use of CBDCs. Whereas in the West, because we're far more against it, understandably so, the traction on this kind of thing is much less. And there's not really any way that the government could just, by fiat, force everyone to do it. Even if they wanted to, people are just too against that. But in China, if the government wants to do it, all of a sudden they just click their fingers and it's going to be much more easy to roll out. So they're pro-digital currency, extremely pro-digital currency. It's almost certainly the future. I mean, everyone in China is already using Alipay, WeChat Pay. So it's already a form of digital currency. And now it's just taking the next step to reform what that currency is. So I believe that they don't necessarily want a competing digital currency, which is not controlled by them, but a nebulous international group of individuals that will basically be running this parallel system. So I don't believe that that their principles are aligned with crypto. I think it's in competition with what they're trying to create, but I don't think they're inherently trying to get rid of it, at least not for now as far as I know. So where the P2P trading thing comes in is that because everybody, let's just say if China wanted to get rid of cryptocurrency, right? Let's just say they really wanted to get rid of it in the future, because one of the main things that a government would do if they wanted to crack down on cryptocurrency is they would kind of cut it off by the neck. And what I mean by that is, if you remember that thing that happened in America, I forgot the name of the bank. It's called but there was this idea called Operation Choke Point. Now, whether that was real or a conspiracy, the idea was that the government or whatever regulatory body would force banks, in whichever way possible, to stop dealing with cryptocurrency institutions in order to stop the trade between fiat and cryptocurrency. And when those bridges are disconnected, it'll make the passageway between those two things difficult, and it'll hurt crypto a great deal, because no one will be able to buy crypto, sell crypto, and its utility in the current moment is greatly limited, right? So that's the idea of Operation Choke Point, and this is what they've already done in China. But what was interesting is that those things have just led to people still acquiring and selling cryptocurrency via peer-to-peer trading. And and this is how I know that Bitcoin is unstoppable, and that one of the primary tools in which it would be unstoppable if a government did try to completely choke off Bitcoin, was that people would just ultimately go to peer-to-peer trading. And for those that are new to my channel and don't watch a lot of my videos about peer-to-peer trading and the philosophy behind it, the idea is that when you're sending funds to a cryptocurrency exchange, you're sending your funds via a bank to the cryptocurrency exchange. They then will they'll take your funds, and then you can use those funds on that exchange to buy Bitcoin on the spot exchange, on the open market. But the cryptocurrency exchange is acting as a third party, like it's receiving your funds, it's the custodian of your funds, and then thirdly, it's facilitating the trade between you and the other buyers and sellers on that market, right? It's a very faceless and anonymous process, it's a faceless process between you and the other buyers and sellers. Like, you're not directly connecting with them. But on a peer-to-peer trading platform, even on a place like Binance or Bybit, right, which also has those facilities, what happens is that the platform just allows the cryptocurrency exchange, even the centralized ones like Bybit and Binance, they're just providing a platform where buyers and sellers can directly connect with each other. So instead of someone sending a bank transfer directly to the exchange, so the exchange can be the custodian of those funds and can allow you to buy and sell or whatever, you're going to send it directly to a person who's selling it, right? So what's valuable about this is it creates a completely anonymous environment. So let's just say Bitcoin was outlawed tomorrow. How can you stop two people just directly connecting to each other? How is it different to, and by the way, maybe I don't want to get too lost in the fields here, but this is part of the reason why the drug trade will never ever stop, right? This is why you can have a war on drugs for 30 years. You can't stop one guy meeting up with another person in a back street, handing over an envelope full of cash in exchange for whatever, right? And this is ultimately what peer-to-peer trading is. Peer-to-peer trading could mean anything, right? It could mean you going to a shop and just giving them $10 for a cookie. Oh, sorry, bad example. Maybe 10 cookies with inflation. It's just you directly dealing with another person, right? It doesn't even have to be in relation to cryptocurrency. It's just you, another person, dealing directly with each other, handing something over in exchange for another thing without the use of a third party. So this is just the standard way that humans have been trading throughout all time, but we've kind of forgotten about this basic institution of trading that's gone back since the dawn of time, because we live in an age where monopolies have capitalized on people's ability to engage in basic commerce. So if you want to sell something, you got to go on Amazon, right? And you got to sell on their platform, and then through them, you're going to connect with buyers and sellers. Maybe you're not Amazon. What about Shopify, right? In order to connect with buyers and sellers, you have to go through Shopify. What if you want to send funds to someone? Long gone are the days where you just give them cash in person, or you send them an envelope full of cash by mail. No, you got to go through PayPal. And each and every time we've discovered, unfortunately, that these monopolies will do their absolute best to abuse their power. PayPal is going to charge you all these funds. They can allow for reverse chargebacks, meaning that you don't really even own your funds on PayPal. Amazon can just ban your account if they find that you against the terms and conditions, whatever that is. Shopify, what if they discovered you're selling something that's not very PC? You know, what if even like it's like a website domain, right? Before you used to be able to do it yourself. Now you've got to do it through HostGator and all these things. What if you make a blog or a website that it's not agreeable, right? It can just be shut down, right? So one of the beautiful things about cryptocurrency is it breaks down the monopoly of these third parties, and the most immediate threat to cryptocurrency, unfortunately, is the centralization of the basic buying and selling process through these exchanges. And that's why peer-to-peer trading is such a valuable, an important part of keeping Bitcoin free. And don't forget, the original transaction that happened in Bitcoin was a peer-to-peer trade. It was just two people on a forum. They spoke with each other, and one guy offered to sell his Bitcoin for pizza. They didn't go through some kind of exchange. They didn't even need any third-party escrow. They just, one guy sent it to him, and then the other person made good in his agreement, and that's it. And I don't want to totally rag on exchanges or the need for some third party to be involved, because there are some values, there is some value to it, but ultimately there is danger if an outside party, whether it's the government, whether it doesn't matter whether it's America or China, Australia, doesn't matter what country it is, if at some stage they decide that they want to crack down on Bitcoin, they're going to go through and target third-party platforms like exchanges in order to be able to control your ability to buy and sell crypto. And the way to get around that is by utilizing peer-to-peer trading facilities, like all the ones that I recommend. And this is a shameless plug, refer a link in the description below for the following, right? We've got three, right? The centralized platforms that provide peer-to-peer trading peer-to-peer trading utilities. You've got Bybit, Binance, OKX. These are centralized platforms and they require KYC, which usually isn't a good thing, but you're going to get good rates there, right? So this still is good. There's a number of good things about it. I don't think long-term it's good to rely on decentralized peer-to-peer trading platforms, but they have their benefits. So I still recommend that people use them, and especially for newbies that aren't used to peer-to-peer trading still, I think it's good to get started on these centralized platforms, because it's very, very unlikely you're going to get scammed. You're going to get good rates, and I don't think you need to go balls to the wall, crypto anarchist, Rand utopia, just to that point yet, right? When you started doing peer-to-peer trading, just focus on getting scammed, focus on not getting scammed and getting a good rate. And you can do those things on Bybit, Binance, and OKX. So you can sign up with my referral link in the description below. And the next set of cryptocurrency P2P exchanges are non-KYC ones that are non-custodial as well. That means the crypto exchange does not have direct access to your funds, and the crypto exchange does not require KYC. So it's a totally anonymous process. And for that, you've got, number one is called local coin swap. Number two is called hodl hodl. And third, I'm not going to recommend a third today. Like, those are just the two best ones that I recommend. The rates are a little more expensive. It requires a little more, we'll say, online trading street smarts in order to navigate your way around the place, not to get involved with the wrong kinds of shady people, avoid scams, stuff like that. But ultimately, those are the best suggestions that I can give you. So if you're interested in those things, first subscribe to my channel. I've got a lot of great advice regarding this kind of stuff. And if you're interested in checking out those P2P cryptocurrency exchanges, you can check out my referral links in the description below. And if you just want to ask me any question about P2P trading, you can write me a comment anytime. I promise I read all of them, and I'll give you a response in a timely manner. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.